Hi, this is Joe and welcome back to the shop. I just picked up a couple more Harbor Freight tools. We'll be doing some comparisons and some evaluations. At home I have the Milwaukee deep cut saw, and in the summertime we travel up to the Pacific Northwest. I work up here in the summer, so I picked up this saw and we'll do some comparisons against the Milwaukee. Look at some specs. We'll do some overtime. I'm going to build a new stand for the Bauer. I built one for the I built one for the Milwaukee. I have an earlier video on that, so if you want to check that out, go ahead. We'll be opening this up and checking it out, and then comparing some specifications. I'll be making a stand for the Bauer, and then we'll be doing some cuts and comparing how one cuts compared with the other, and we'll do some over time. We'll do some how it holds up over time and how the blades hold up over time. I have some pretty good experience with working with the blades on the Milwaukee, so we'll see how they compare with the Bauer. So let's go ahead and open up this thing. Let's talk a little bit about specifications and the differences between the Milwaukee and the Bauer Harbor Freight deep cut saw. The Milwaukee has a 5-year warranty on their saw. The Harbor Freight Bauer has 90 days. Okay, the Milwaukee is 11 amp motor and the Harbor Freight is a 10 amp motor. They both have a cutting width and height of 5.5 inches. Okay, they both take the same blade size, and that would be 44 7/8 by 1/2. The Milwaukee recommends, though, a blade thickness of 20 thousandths, and the Bauer recommends a blade thickness of 25 thousandths. The difference being 5 thousandths. If you're not familiar with thousandths of an inch, 5 thousandths is basically just bigger than a human hair. So one of the things that we may try to get a little interesting is try mixing and matching the blades and seeing if that 5 thousandths of an inch makes a big difference. Milwaukee claims that the thinner blade is supposed to assist with the cutting action, but we'll see how that happens in the future. They're both, the Milwaukee and the Bauer are variable speed. The Milwaukee is from 0 to 380 surface feet per minute, and the Bauer is 0 to 420 surface feet per minute. So the Bauer has just a bit more range. The lengths are 21 inches, and they both seem to be the same length. Milwaukee has a 3-position material rest, and it is a snap. You push a button and it snaps in the different detents. The Bauer here has a couple of set screws, and it does have some track, so it does appear to be positionable. We'll loosen that up and check that out. The price difference, the Milwaukee with the case, the plastic case, These are AC corded, they're not battery operated. So the Milwaukee is $299 even, and the Bauer is $134.99. So the Bauer is actually less than half the price of the Milwaukee. As far as weight goes, the Milwaukee is 14.5 pounds, and the Bauer is 22.5 pounds. So the Bauer is 8 pounds heavier. I'm assuming that if you're going to hold this, you're going to notice that 8 pounds. Since I make stands for my saws, that's not a big consideration, as I mostly cut on the stand. But what we'll do is we'll try to do some manual cutting, holding the saw, and seeing how that works and how it doesn't work if 22 pounds is a lot heavier or not. I'm assuming it's going to be a lot heavier to the feel. That's again 8-pound difference. Okay, so those are the spec comparisons. What I'm going to do now is let's mount a blade and see how easy or how difficult it is to mount the blade in the Bauer. Milwaukee isn't too terribly bad. There is a tensioner adjustment on the Bauer, just like there is the Milwaukee. Let's flip this up here, or flip it to the other side. It appears that the Bauer, the drive wheel, and the upper wheel where the blade rides on, these are both metal pulleys, and they have a rubberized rubber around the circumference of the wheel. So those are the same. You have your bearing rollers, and that converts the rotation from this way, and then it twists the blade to align to the cutting area here. So we'll see the Milwaukee, that's quite tight, and I'm concerned about that tension causing early failure on the blade, or on the blade. So we will mount one up here on the Bauer and see how difficult it is, compare it, and then we'll fire this thing up and see how it sounds. We'll test out the variable speed, and then eventually we'll do some cutting. Let's talk about blades here a little bit. I've used the Milwaukee blades, and I've purchased a set of these Bauer blades. I wanted to give them a try to compare them with the other blades that I've used. I took one of the blades out. There's 2 blades in this pack, and the thickness is 20 thousandths. So that means that all of the blades that are available for all the different deep cut saws are all interchangeable. So for example, the Milwaukee 18 teeth per inch bimetal blade comes 2 blades per box, is $14.97 before tax. The Bauer here is same 18 teeth per inch bimetal blade is $15.99. Okay, that's 2 blades. Okay, and what I use is I purchased from Amazon. I purchased the DeWalt 18 TPI bimetal blades, and there's 3 blades per box at $19.99. So, okay, one thing to note about all the blades that I've tested so far, they all have 8% cobalt as part of the mixture or the alloy of the blades. It's supposed to longer life and faster cutting. So if you're looking at the breakdown of what the costs are, the Milwaukee blades come out to $7.50 a blade. The Bauer is $8 a blade, and because DeWalt sells 3 blades per pack, your price per blade is $6.60. I have used the Milwaukee blades, and I've used the DeWalt blades. I like the DeWalt blades, and apparently the Bauer are similar quality and similar price to the Milwaukee. The best deal I have found is the DeWalt. You get 3 blades per box, and so that brings your price break per blade down to $6.60, which is a bit cheaper than both the Milwaukee or the Bauer. So let's go ahead and mount one of the blades on the saw. I'll do it. I've never mounted a blade on the Bauer, so we'll do this together and see how difficult or how easy it is to do a blade. Let's first of all loosen the blade adjuster, and let's flip this over and we'll mount the blades. Let's check the clay here. Okay, this wheel seems to be a bit tighter than the Milwaukee. Okay, so I have a blade here, so let's get the blade this way. Let's see, make sure everybody can see what I'm doing. So with the tensioner loose, we're going to fit that blade on. Okay, and we're going to then position the blade between the rollers. Okay, let's do this one as well. Let's see, can you guys see okay? Yep. Okay. Okay, so the blade is between both of the rollers on the bottom. The blade is between both of the rollers on the top. Let's go ahead and tighten the tensioner. Okay, the variable speed seems to be pretty much infinite between almost 0 and the max speed of 420. So the blade mounted pretty easily, about the same as the Milwaukee. Again, the tensioner makes that pretty easy. Now again, the one thing I do not like is that blade twists from this orientation around the gear, or around the wheel, to more of a, it rotates the blade down this way, stays down, and then come back and reorientate itself around the drive wheel at the bottom here. So I personally think that's a bit tight for a bandsaw. On the Milwaukee, I've broken a lot of blades, and they appear to break before they've worn out. So that's why I've been trying different blades and different combinations of teeth per inch to see if what is the best blade for the type of operation that I do mostly. So we have this mounted here, and what we'll do is we'll come back and we'll actually do some second and third videos. First, I'm going to build a stand for this, and I'll show you how I do that. Then we'll do some cutting, do some comparisons of how it feels with the blade cutting on the Bauer, and how the weight feels when we're doing some handheld cuts. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for future videos on the Harbor Freight Bauer Deep Cut Saw.